So to what extent could a failure of Evergrande, and I've actually not heard the name spoken, I only ever read news, so I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but Evergrande. What are the implications of a failure of this company or another company similar in size on the US economy?
It really depends on what type of failure, right? So you take the 2008 financial crisis, and the Lehman Brothers failure would be the worst kind of failure, right? And the Wachovia failure would be like the best kind of failure, right? So a lot of
Make the distinction between them. Why was Lehman bad and Wachovia good?
First off, Lehman Brothers was thrown into bankruptcy court, which is a very chaotic way to resolve, also a very expensive way to resolve something. And I think it caused a serious contagion, and really caused a ripple effect. Whereas Wachovia was basically resolved through the FDIC. The depositors didn't lose any money. Wells Fargo assumed the assets, and it was an orderly liquidation. So first things first, all failures are not good, but there's both an orderly failure and a disorderly failure.
Okay.
So the Chinese government is talking tough that they're not going to bail them out. Well, sure. I mean, it depends on what you define a bailout. I mean, just because you prevent a systematic, Lehman Brothers type scenario doesn't mean you bailed out Evergrande. I mean, I doubt that the Chinese government's going to bail out the stockholders or bondholders, but I suspect they will do some sort of orderly liquidation where they sort of minimize the disruptiveness of a big failure. Could this cause problems? Sure. I mean, I guess the other question is this a bad apple, or are there other bad apples out there?
Right.
And, I suspect they're not the only one. I've seen enough evidence that the Chinese government, the way it treats its banks, they have very high levels of NPLs. Nobody seems to resolve anything.
Non-performing loans, just to tell that one guy in the audience that doesn't know what an NPL is. Yeah.
Correct. So, it's so hard to predict because this is such a unique situation. But, short answer, it's not good.